Good night and welcome to another episode of Reason with Ashleigh-Ann Mowatt right here on Jamaicans.com Facebook page. I'm Ashleigh-Ann and I have a wonderful panel with me today. But before I introduce them, if this is the first time that you're watching Reason with Ashleigh-Ann Mowatt, it's a show that I do right here on Jamaicans.com almost every week. No kill me, isn't it? Right? And we discuss current affairs affecting Jamaicans or just current affairs within the island. We want you to reason with us tonight. Tonight is a very special night because it is our year in review show. And I am pleased to be joined by a distinguished, yeah man, me I call it a distinguished panel of social commentators. I'm right here on my, let me see if me get it right now. This is what, my right, on my right, I have Mr. Patrick Lawson. He is a client relationship. Oh, he's a client relationship specialist, right? And I would say one of the best writers in Jamaica. Let me just say that, all right?
Okay.
And photographer. We also have Miss Jodianne Beckford. She is a radio producer. She's a broadcaster as well. A social media marketer, and that's a broadcaster, and she's an entrepreneur. And we have Jamaican Canadian psychology student Tessanie Mowatt, who is also my sister. Welcome, guys.
Hi. Good to be here.
All right. I want to big up the people who are currently watching the live. I see Anne-Marie Harvey here. Good evening. Please tell me where you're connecting from. I'm connecting from the beautiful city of Montego Bay. I don't know why some people said me they are foreign. All right, so somebody here, Mobile. All right, let's get straight into it. So our year in review show will look on the stories. We're going to examine those stories that kept you on the edge of your seat. And when I say stories, I'm talking about Jamaican news stories that just kept on putting your mind in a space where you never thought it would be. These stories wowed you. So I asked my panelists to do a bit of homework for me to select 3 of their top Jamaican news stories, or where it is not a local story, Jamaicans in some way was affected by or were affected by the news. So I want you to be a part of the discussion. So if it is that you can relate to what my panelists are saying, please comment below and do me a favor. Share this live now. So over to you, Mr. Lawson. I'm just going to say Patrick. Let's get to it.
Mr. Lawson is my father.
Yes? No, Mr. Lawson is your father. I'm not trying to age you. So
all right, so my first story is one that everybody is familiar with. It's one that rocked the social media world. Basically everybody and their grandmother was tuned into that, and it's definitely the versus battle with Bounty Killer and Beanie Man. And if anyone knows me, they know I stand for the culture. I am straight up for the culture. So when I heard that Versus, which is arranged by Timbaland and Swizz Beatz, was having Jamaican artists on it, I was like, Zine, we have to support the team. We have to tune in like a real dance. So like that was huge for us because anybody who's a fan of dancehall, they know the struggles that it's facing in its home country. Places like the UK and Japan, huge, can pull huge crowds. You can basically start a career, everything there. But we're still facing a fight out here with dancehall because most persons say it's too risky, it's not good for the kids and so forth. But for this to happen, it's an acknowledgement from outside that is so beneficial to us, especially in this year where everything now work. So that was huge, and in true Jamaican style, the police coming to lock up the dance. So that was like a legit.
Before you even get to that, Patrick, I want to know something. Jody, where or what device did you watch this epic versus battle on?
All right, so I start with my phone and my phone dead, and then I come back to the computer and go up on the Instagram because I couldn't find it on Facebook anywhere. So I go on the Instagram on my computer and watch the rest of it. And you would think that I was in the room. I'm not gonna lie, it was the best feeling ever. Just seeing so many people that some persons that like it was they couldn't understand like what is the big deal. You know them haters that come around the corner. And me I say, yo, it's Bounty Killer and Beanie Man. Like if you live in a Jamaica, you must understand how epic that was. And just the mere fact that they were so cool and they were so fun, I was like, yo, I never expected it to be the way it was. I really
they were like such great ambassadors for us, man. It was a vibe.
Yes.
Look here, my vibe were the memes. Me not get past about him there.
Twitter was lit. Twitter nearly broke down. Anybody who know the on the bandwagon say, you know, dancehall and by extension the Caribbean, come off of the truck. Leave the dance. Leave the earring. Up to the jerk man who don't want to fight you.
Bounty saying plus Beanie Man, don't be that guy.
Do you really want to be that guy right now? Mr. Officer, do you really
people still saying it.
Yes.
Do you really want to be that guy right now? I'm pretty sure Grand Market night when you know everything blacked down, them I gotta ask the police that. Do you really want to be that guy? Do you want to be that guy?
You don't want to be that guy for 2020. You don't want to be that guy. All right, over to you, Tess. What is the first story on your list? Because we're keeping it going. I see people in the comments really enjoying the interaction. But let's hear what Tess has to say. What's first on your list?
So we started the year with a very unfortunate event, was the passing of Kobe Bryant. And I feel like that was one event that rocked the world. It wasn't just Jamaica, it wasn't just the United States, it was the entire world, because Kobe was that guy for us in basketball. And so
not the police type of guy.
Not the police, it was our guy. For us a lot of us grew up with Kobe Bryant, and for his tragic death, it was a lot to process. So it was just like we started 2020 and we were ready to go, and it was exciting and we wanted this, you know, and then all of a sudden Kobe Bryant is no more. So that was one of the stories that really affected me personally, and I saw where it affected the entire world.
And I remember that I was at work, and like when we heard, we were like, you sure it isn't one of those, you know, the fake celebrity things that they have going around? It felt personal, because as Tess said, a lot of us grew up with Kobe. He was that guy, you know. He had this larger than life status, you know. He built himself off pure skill and talent, and he was just this person that you could look at him and say, that's a role model right there. That's somebody who I can, you know, look at their grit, at their drive, and try and emulate it, and try to, you know, say, all right, I gave 70 at work yesterday, today I'm giving 110. I want to be at that status where he is. Or even if by some happenstance he saw me, was like, I see what you're doing good, I like that, you know? It's even though it's still and so then you know the entire thing, and his daughter with him, and then his family, it was just, it's like persons who left too soon, man. Like he still had so much more to give. Like it's just painful, and then his daughter was following in his footsteps, you know, doing her thing. It was just
that part of it was really heart-wrenching for me to know that we lost not only Kobe but his daughter and other members of his family. It was heart-wrenching. I could even to this day
it feels like it hasn't happened. It feels like I'm still somewhere else, and this is just something I'm gonna wake up.
It felt like for me like a family member died. That's how it felt. Like, I know he cried when I saw the TMZ thing, because once it's the TMZ, and I that's the thing that like.
Once it's the TMZ, you're like.
No, I saw the TMZ thing and I was like, Lord Jesus, this is true. And I broke down and cried, and I felt guilty because I don't want nobody to know somebody cried, but at the same time I was like, no, this from I was a child growing up, it's like Kobe, and Kobe's good at what he does, and inspires so much. So even if you're not inspired to do basketball, you're inspired to be your best. And he's the type of person that did his best at anything that he's in. So I took it personal. Real personal.
Hey Jody, let me tell you, you're not the only person who ball. You understand? Enough people ball. Right now, if you can relate to this, please comment below. I want to pick up Marlon Sterling, connecting from Montego Bay.
Hey.
I'm pretty sure that my panelists want to see their parishes too in the comments. So let me know where you're connecting from. If you're connecting from in the island, which parish, which city, which town, which square, which corner shop. Is it big up yourself? And if you're overseas, where exactly are you connecting from? This is the Reason with Ashleigh-Ann Mowatt Year in Review show. All right, over to you, Jody. Queen Jojo. What's the first on your list?
So the first on my list is heavy, not even kind of heavy. It's heavy. Jasmine Dean. We know that Jasmine. And this happened. She's visually impaired, and what was sad about this was that this young woman, it was her first year at university, right? And the persons that saw her on Thursday, February the 27th, Thursday in Papine. It's such a, I don't know how to, because every time I think about it, I get emotional, because I just feel like everybody feels her, from the taxi man to the person that led her to the bus stop, to the transportation system, to the government, to the police, to our community. I just feel like everybody feels her. And
just a minute, Jody, just for those people who do not know the story. So this, can you just give us a synopsis? What exactly happened where is Jasmine Dean?
We have no clue where she is. What happened is that Jasmine was at school at University of the West Indies, late class, right? The story is that somebody took her to the bus stop, around UDESO. The buses were taking as the back gate. The buses were taking very long. Probably the last bus went away or whatever. Standing there, waiting, and then all of a sudden a taxi appeared. She went into that taxi, went up into Papine. There, she called her father, told her father, hey, I'm on a taxi, I'm heading downtown. And she's been heading downtown ever since. She called again, something went wrong. They realized that it's taking too long. And by then, the phone was off. They're not hearing from her. When they investigate where the phone was, there's so much to this story though, because
it's one that I kept abreast on, and I know this is something that's very huge for you, Jody, because I know you're a huge disabilities advocate. It has been something we have had ever since I've met you, and so what makes it particularly painful for any of us, but especially for students who were at UA, is that this is not a new problem that we've had with that area, what we call, we dub it UA back gate. And it has been a very problematic area.
When I had to do a course there once.
It's that area is a hot spot, but the entire campus and successive student governments have been lobbying for them to look at it, but it's been a recurring issue. But for Jasmine, I believe that was someone that we felt, as a society and as a person, as a good human being, that we felt it personal to, all of us have a responsibility to her because of not as her disability alone, but even as decent human beings. And the fact that she's still not found, and somebody, I'm not even going to speculate, somebody knows where she is.
Patrick,
it's so heart-wrenching.
What it is.
Remember the guy that from Bull Bay that was charged with the illegal possession of 2 men were charged.
Yes, I believe one had her ATM card and the phone, and so somebody knows something, but this culture of silence that we have around it and hope a problem fixes itself.
Mama said something.
It's not adding up.
I think Jamaica failed Jasmine Dean and her family, and we keep on failing women, especially women who are coming from underserved communities. Me feel say, because within this same year we saw where a woman was let me say it properly. A woman disappeared and she was found.
Same day.
And she was from a St. Andrew address, okay? So no problem for what it is. Let's just call it for what it is. We really failed Jasmine. Right? And I hope, I hope people just like yourself, Jody, who were deeply touched by the story, continue to be concerned, continue to talk about it.
And don't let this just be a 9-day wonder.
Yes.
Exactly.
No, but
all right.
Time you see our picture, I share. It's like I keep sharing it. I don't know what to feel, but I keep sharing it in the hopes that people will never forget.
Yes, and people will never forget if we just keep on doing what we have to do. Want to big up Kelly Brown. Kelly Brown said, "Ashley, I like your haircut. Thank you." Gerald Henderson here from Germany, connecting live. Hi, Gerald. Jerry, sorry. And Veronica from Miami, Florida. Clarice Hudson from Atlanta, Georgia. Hello. Well, America Watchman. George Broomfield watching from the Bronx. He says that he loved the program. Which part you like? Right? And we also have Marcia Brown-Samuda from Rochester in New York. And of course, Jadus is in the building. Thank you for joining. If this is the first time you're watching the show, this is the Reason with Ashleigh-Ann Mowatt show right here live on Jamaicans.com Facebook page. And I have a distinguished panel with me tonight reviewing the year 2020 through the lens of the top news items for us Jamaicans. All right, I'm going to jump right over to Patrick again. Tell me what's on your list.
Next that I had was the war of words between US and China following Mike Pompeo's visit to Jamaica. Mike Pompeo is a high-level US government executive. And everybody has kind of known that, we've been caught between these two countries. And to be honest, our government has been playing the kind of one with one but the side man with them, and we've been trying to extract as much benefit that we have, but essentially we are trapped between these two superpowers right now. And you persons have seen that the Chinese have increased the level of their investment in Jamaica. And the US is very concerned about that, and we know that the US is very bullish on whatever they want. So they've been kind of having this tug of war with us, and Jamaica is in the middle. And that's that phrase. If the US catches a cold,
Jamaica sneeze.
Jamaica
I want to ask a fundamental question. Given the fact that you're living in Canada now, and you're raised in Jamaica, do you think Jamaica can, especially if you look at that tension between China and the US, because US whatever Chinese investment in Jamaica, do you think Jamaica can survive on its own?
Can survive on other words?
On its own, without any Chinese investment, US interference in our business?
I think it is possible. It's going to take an overall change in the mentality of our, I don't want to just say leadership, I want to talk about the entire country.
Yeah.
Because we, as much as we argue about our leaders, we also rely heavily on our leaders. We expect a lot from them, and a lot of things that we expect we're not willing to take care of on our own. Is like they're leading us, so they're supposed to carry the whole thing. But I think if we learn to be independent within our own homes and then develop that type of mentality across the island, yes, I think we can manage on our own.
Yeah, and I agree with you. I feel as if we decide to be a resilient nation, yes, it is. We will have partnership with different countries, but we can't do it, man. When nobody fear fight over with. Yeah, that's right. We're good. We're good. Jumping back, jumping up, jumping. Were you saying something, Patrick?
Yes, I would say it will take a bit of sacrifice on our end, but yeah, we can. We have the resources in the world and the impact that we have from cultural to political, globally. You know, it far outreaches almost every other country.
Yeah,
exactly.
The culture in Toronto, the culture in London is based on Jamaica.
It is.
And that's why I asked you that question.
Man, them not give away props.
The man them don't.
Man them.
What's the next story on your list?
The next story is a little bit of mix up.
Oh boy.
So you remember when Jada Pinkett Smith told about entanglement?
Long enough.
Entanglements.
And that was the new word.
Yes, that was the new word.
Look here. Every Jamaican in some way became entangled. Yes. We are entangled in some entanglements.
No, thank you.
Patrick, why? No entanglement here, none over here.
Stress free, drama free.
Why that story, Ted?
I think it was important to us. A lot of people, because we really put a lot on the Smiths as a couple. We look up to them. We've been following Will Smith since he was the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. And here is his wife, who she has her own career, but we know them together as a couple. And then for us to learn that, oh my God, she's human. She's actually one of us. Like,
no man, we don't like how her pretty top. She get the man born.
No, but you see. And that's what I never agreed with. I mean, I think I should give him no bun. I think Will knew because Will was cheating on her just the same. And then they were
show me the receipts. Black men do not cheat. Black men do not cheat. What man period? That's it.
Okay. Everybody seemed to only hear one part of that. When I heard when him say him leave her and tell her herself one and it that him done with her.
Well, let me show a little context on it. I mean, I believe people were saying that at the same time that was going on, he was having an affair with what's the name of that young lady? He was feeling them
from out of the. He was having
okay, we're not going.
Squad. That's the
Becky with the good hair.
Yeah. And because Will Smith is Will Smith, you never hear a whole lot panic. But they did drop that picture at Manar up in a club somewhere in some foreign land, right? But nobody never talk about that. But as soon as Jada, the woman, them find out that
it as an entanglement.
Yes, that she was just mere human and falls to temptation of the chatterbox there. All of a sudden.
Look here, my thing is, I think how Will Smith responded to it was a boss move. Like August, checkmate.
Yes.
Some people say man deal with it. The man deal with it like, let me tell you something. You people say can come broke up, this a poor couple, I come and I tell about you have intimate relation, you have feelings for my wife. No wife, life partner. Oh, yeah, try to checkmate.
Too much things to this. And a Jamaican man, they're like, she do what? Them no move on this, you know, them still like entang. What?
You know? And I think it was so amazing to especially see on Twitter how Jamaican judge, jury, them did in the restaurant for August and Jada there. They were in the room, them follow everything, they know everything.
Well, to sum up my first thoughts on it in the words of the great philosopher Vibes Cartel, I will say nobody no bigger than bun. It's only if you're fool when you start get bulla too, at that time you feel worry.
Oh, okay. Jody, what's next on your list?
All right, it's another heavy topic. You know, seminar like me. Why me get out of the serious topic? Anyway, about, you know, what stood out to me. All right, so this was very recent, guys. Shanika Campbell, 28-year-old alleged sex worker found dead in the hotel. Now,
Okay.
my problem with Ash and guys was that the star just classed that prostitute found dead in
Yeah.
hotel, and I was like, this is how you're going to describe a woman that was murdered?
Yeah.
And I was like, really, this is what we're doing? And then her father came out and was like, why that? My child
Yeah.
was murdered.
There, I had mixed feelings on that. Not the entirety of her being found murdered while applying her trade. That is trouble. That is problematic. I'll touch on that soon. But the thing that you touched on about this, the Star and their headline.
Yeah.
One, yes, it is a problematic headline to reduce someone down to just that, a prostitute found murdered. I personally did not like it. All of us here are media affiliated and media trained. We know this business like the back of our hands. And it's when I put it in that light and I thought, all right, the Star is a tabloid. The bar for them is it even up on the ground. It's one of the reasons why I don't really subscribe to the Star, because personally I am not a big gossip person or so, and their stories is just headlines. It's just headlines and fluff. I know a lot of persons love it. Their pasta is super popular in it, but at what point do we say, all right, you kind of push the bar too far right now? Even though the bar is below the ground for them as a tabloid, they live or die by their headlines.
Right.
As for the story itself, there is a disturbing trend regarding that in terms of protection for our sex workers, and it is something that they are doing, but we seem to like just do it. Everybody knows back road.
Oh, let me tell you why. No?
Everybody knows back road.
Because no one respects them, or a few people respect them. I just a little sex them myself. Yet someone tell me about the little sex.
Exactly.
Because something has to be wrong with you for you to be a sex worker.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's wrong.
But
you can't choose to be a sex worker.
Yeah. And that's what they're going to say, right? But even so, whatever the circumstances, it was a woman who was murdered, obviously, and found dead, and you reduced her to that. I doubt at this very moment anybody's investigating her death.
Definitely
I doubt anybody is taking it up in hand.
Or there's any fire there to get it solved, even investigate.
Follow up. I doubt it. And this is a trend where I'm seeing here in Jamaica, and it's so scary. I don't go anywhere, COVID or not, I would not go anywhere, because it's almost like they reduce women to what did she do? Every time something happened to a woman.
And that is a way how they control the narrative, because they're saying, all right, if a woman is murdered, well, why should do to him for him do that? And they're like, you ever think most of man just wicked?
Tess, remember we had this conversation just recently?
Well, that's why I'm keeping my mouth shut, because I'm going off right now.
Yeah, but it is problematic, and for a country that is matrifocal, it's based heavily on the backs of our women. They don't get the respect that they deserve, and we as a country, we are failing in so many areas for our women. Gender-based violence is something that's on the rise. I remember Babsy was saying that they've been getting a lot of calls, especially COVID, and everybody is home right now about that being so problematic, violence against women. So we know better, we can do better, just do better, people.
Do better. All right, we're running out of time, guys. So I'm gonna give you an opportunity to give your last set of stories, Patrick.
Yeah, all right, let me just run through it. Mine was when we got the government order that we can work from home. Who didn't happy like me? I was super happy. I have been begging and knowing my workplace, like, I can do this at home. Let me go home. And they've been like, you can do it here too. Why not just do it here?
I have a different perspective because work from home means my boss could call me 6 a.m., Did you post that? Did you run? And even at 10 p.m. in the night, remember at 95, and 95 like don't exist no more.
No, it existed from. You see, the thing with us is that you have to set the boundaries. Yeah. I personally have 2 phones. One for work. When that's wondering, I know it's the money call. But I set my boundaries because that is a problem worldwide where persons are working from home. They say they don't know how to switch off. When I turn off that phone, I'm done for the day. This is me time. I need to turn off my brain for a second.
Patrick, I'm happy you have that privilege. Because for some
no, it should not be a privilege. That is a right.
For some Jamaican, no boundary, no that is it. Take a paycheck. Check the
I know.
But work conditions or don't get a paycheck.
True.
But it's one of the reasons why I say I am happy that, we got that order, that happened, because now that conversation can start on a national level and we can actually get some rights in for our persons who are not in the traditional workplace where, be seen in order to get promoted. I can work from home and I don't have to worry about being shortchanged by my employer. It's a conversation that we can now have. We can have how taxes work now, since, I'm not going there anymore. I'm not doing that. It's a conversation starter to me. And that's why I chose it as one of my big stories, because I'm a huge work from home, or not even work from home, remote work advocate.
Yes.
I personally hate offices.
And let's just put some context to it. The reason we had the work from home order instituted, the Prime Minister and the government was making an attempt to control the spread of the COVID-19 virus, because we saw where a particular call center became a huge cluster, and everybody.
That call center, which must not be named, but we all know.
We all know who they are.
Yeah, man. But in true Jamaican style, we describe it as,
Over the Tess, what's the next story on your list?
So my final story is that it is not so much of, it does affect Jamaica, but it's more on an international level. So following the death of unfortunate passing of the murder of George Floyd and Breonna Taylor, we now have come to a climax, I think, in current day with racial tension. I think no more than ever there is a huge divide, and you are forced to define your race and promote your race, and promote from within. So this is the very first time I've ever experienced this amount of tension when it comes on to racial issues, and it's more North America, but it's now spreading globally as well.
Yeah. I think what that story brought forward in Jamaica was the question of whether or not racism exists in Jamaica. I don't know if we answered that question fully yet.
Not even a question. Have we had the discussion in and of itself about that?
Guys, quick. I went to Price Mart the other day with my family. This white man, I don't know where he come from. We stand up in the line. There was some Chinese family behind me. I was standing in front of them. And this white man out of nowhere, I watch him in the corner, but I ain't come no, so I'm afraid for nobody. So anyways, Miss Team Madcap, so I said, Tamika, I said to my sister, I come in front of wake up. I'm ready now, guys. I'm ready. The man, two, I take my eye off because my sister, she's not confrontational. She's very the opposite of me. Anyways, two, me see the man at the front of the line, say, no, we start there too. So I say, what is? Then the Chinese guy behind me start talking at Chinese, but me know say I done the man up there now. He realized that I'm upset too, and he started to say, yo, she was here first, they were here first. Why did he get to go? And him not look for me now. But my sister, cause me know say she's together, so me don't want to embarrass her, so I just hold it. But I say, anywhere I see him, I not forget him face. Anywhere I see him, I got member and I got join him. I was even say, one day soon, I got see him.
What you say, Jody? On site.
Jody,
On site.
God done you. God done you.
Yes, let me tell you, these things are happening, but people don't want to talk about it. Racism, people say no, classism, racism exists in Jamaica. You have Chinese and you have white people here in Jamaica that love our culture. And black people love our culture, love our food, love our home, love to live here, love the sun.
They love everything except we.
Don't like the people, and they look at you with scorn. Worse if they don't know where you're coming from, and they feel like they can't treat you anywhere until them see it in a like a shiny vehicle. You see them go like, "Hey, mistake." It exists, but nobody really wants to talk about it.
True.
Yeah. I think the issue of colorism is also present in Jamaica, and it's something that we have to, just as with the Jasmine Dean story, just as with acts of violence against women, we need to continue talking about these things. You understand? Making some steps, call out people for the foolishness that they're doing. You understand? Including that white man, right? And in that way, we'll make steps towards seeing a better future for our young and for ourselves. I just want to, before Jody, you give your final story, I want to pick up the people watching live that said, great conversation. This is Don Thompson saying, great conversation. The young guns are our future. Big up yourself, Don. I'm glad you're enjoying it. Andrea Malcolm says, listening from Brooklyn, New York. And Annette Carvalho says, good night, Annette. Where are you connecting from? All right. So, Jody, your final story, and I'm going to give my story as well. What is it?
So my final story, everybody knows this is like so funny and so serious at the same time.
Yeah.
Trump versus Biden.
Logging off. I cannot bother.
I think we can just say this. Once we see Kamala Harris, right? Riding on Biden's ticket, VP, running for the seat of VP. On Biden's ticket, we say, yo, Jamaicans, good. We can't go for my visa. Everybody.
Fly the
gate. But
then you see when they went, hey, you see that meme where she was, I don't know where she was, but it looked like when she was outdoors, and she said
campaigning when she was
campaigning. Everybody related to Miss Harris.
Auntie Kamala.
Look here. I think Jamaicans watch the U.S. presidential race so closely, and it meant so much for all of us.
Attention to it. Honestly, it was my first time. I think for me, when Trump won 4 years ago, that's when I started to pay attention. And then I realized how serious it was and how we Jamaicans are affected. Trump was a class act. I tell people Trump is what will tell you that nothing is impossible. You would have never thought that somebody like Trump would have been able to be the president of the free world.
He's like that role model. He's like that role model you didn't know you had.
So Tess, question: you think Kanye has a chance?
Hey, anything is possible.
Hey, Trump won, so you know.
All right. I'm gonna share my story, but before I share my story, I want you guys to think about something very important. We saw where so many Jamaicans went through a lot this year. We really ride the rough waves of 2020, and for me, I believe there were some Jamaicans who, regardless of the rough waves, came out strong and showed us publicly that journey. I would love if my panelists and also you guys watching live, wherever you are, to tell me, who do you think was that Jamaican who conquered 2020? And let me just put it out there, even if you never conquered 2020, you still do good. The fact that you're still here, you still do good. You understand? And if you're still in the process of conquering it, you're still all right. So it's not meant to discredit anybody else's story, but rather to inspire somebody watching who do you think is that Jamaican who conquered 2020? All right. So while you think about that, I'm gonna share my top story for 2020. And this is number 10 because we're actually counting down 20. So we're doing 10 tonight and 10 next week, Saturday. All right, or next Saturday. So my story is the controlled re-entry program that the government instituted, where basically they were saying that they are going to, in a very controlled way, allow Jamaicans to return to the island who were quote unquote stranded in foreign countries. My issue with it was that it was a very it never
was a mess. It was a mess. Call it what it is. It was messy.
Mess. You know what was a hot mess? The stories of the ship workers. So in extension of that, the ship workers who had to apply to return to dock, and I wait for the response and have to turn around and leave or port because
and go. I believe it was the United Kingdom. They had to go back to.
Yes. I think we dropped. I think the government, and when I say the government, the health ministry, the prime minister dropped the ball on that. When you heard the voice notes and all of that coming out of the hotels, or let me say the facilities where these people were being quarantined, and they detailed the conditions in which they were experiencing, I'm like, oh gosh, man. These are Jamaican.
Yeah, we really failed our people on that one.
We said them there on the bus away to go in at the facility, and they must say, no, you're not coming in. Them in at the place, no shower curtain, no towel, no AC. No, not a fan. They must get a box them. Like, come on. Seriously?
You know what? I think what COVID did was show us how unprepared we were for any sort of major disaster. It exposed that. So if anything, I think what happened, the government that's in charge learned because they did not know one thing.
I think they panicked.
And everybody
that's what happened. Everybody does like I run around like a headless chicken.
The people of Jamaica panicked, and therefore everybody was scared because COVID, and then people going to come in. These people going to get COVID.
Yeah, unlike no, everybody. Well, if a dirt,
Done. All the people that will not obey. Patrick, all the people that will not obey the 14-day quarantine. A dirt.
Speaking of which, there was a young lady who did that. She came to, not here, it was the Cayman Islands, I believe.
Yes.
And she was doing the right thing, and then she tired now. So she and her boyfriend go jet ski and have a grander full day. That's what I would call it, grander full. And she come home to the police, say, yes man, just go up in the Jeep. 4 months in jail she get.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
I implore Jamaicans, do not take the restrictions that are being placed on public gatherings lightly.
No.
Westmoreland, I am looking at you.
Especially
Westmoreland.
on the yard. Them say less than 15 people there for Christmas. Only do the Zoom something. Try something. You understand?
Westmoreland is the unruly child. Westmoreland have to be under curfew from 7 p.m. What is going on in Westmoreland? I am very scared to go back home right now.
Okay, I'm gonna wrap up because we are definitely out of time.
Definitely.
I'm pretty sure I'm seeing the laughing, I'm seeing the love, I'm seeing the likes. I appreciate the interaction tonight, guys. I want to know now from my panelists, and I'm gonna go around the room. So, Patrick, who do you think is that Jamaican who conquered 2020?
I would definitely say the Jamaican entrepreneurs.
Yes.
They have been killing it. Like normally we're born hustlers. We will sell anything. We're not scared about that. But like since COVID, usually when you see Jamaican is merely out of, we need to get some money right now. So we're just gonna start a thing. But over the course of 2020, I've seen them stepping up their game. They've started their business, they need money, and not everywhere is hiring right now. So they've started their business, but it's no longer just something to tie me over until I get the regular 9 to 5. They have been stepping up their game and like, wait, this is something that I can actually do full time and grow and contribute, take care of my family. And I have seen a wave of support go out for them from the development bank, from the Jamaica Business Development Corporations. I have seen like a ton of resources go out for them. So they are killing it, man, and I am super proud of them.
Yes. All right. Jody?
Okay, so I would have to say the same thing for Patrick. Like, the Jamaican people overall did so well in such a crazy time. I tell you,
except with the curfew. We still work on that.
I include myself into it when I realized the money I got cut short. I said, "We are saying no."
Hey, innovate.
Started no I have a lip line, no I have ear care, skincare. What do?
Yeah, man. Income.
Yeah, man.
You know what? Too, I have to big up everybody, because even if you didn't struggle financially, mentally, emotionally, you struggle because you didn't get
this year has been, man, it's been heavy on everything.
Yeah. And for the single people, I mean, that struggle to big up yourself,
Let go my shirt. Let go of my shirt. Release my shirt, ma'am. Thank you.
Quarantine with your lotion. Okay, next.
Yeah, man, big up yourself.
Piggybacking off what Patrick and Jody said, I would like to say that the people who made it, or are what I consider to be Jamaicans of the year, are Jamaican single parents.
Oh God, yes.
The rug was dropped from underneath you, and you are left at home with these kids. You have to figure out online schooling. You have to sit down and pity them.
Yeah.
It was not easy, and you guys
I am telling you, man.
You are pushing through, and you're learning things where you never want to learn.
Let me say, to use a meme that I saw, so like, these days rough, but me rougher than them. Like, them are rougher than them. Rougher than them. Yeah.
Don Thompson said, myself, I conquered 2020. Big up yourself, Don. George Broomfield says, Auntie Donna for helping those poor people. Big up yourself, Auntie Donna. Yes, and Annette is here connecting from Trelawney. Big up yourself. All right, guys, I think for me, the Jamaicans who conquered 2020 would have to be every single student who successfully completed the academic term.
Oh my God.
And all of these learning platforms. Look, let me tell you. You see your child, I saw a message from a school. It was being circulated on social media where a message to parents from the school administration saying, you said you're going to get the kids' report card this year? Ensure you're not hard on them. Be in mind that these young people went through a pandemic. They learned how to innovate. They learned how to use high-end technology to continue learning. You understand? Something new. It's like the little baby them. When me watch my little cousin, I'd create greeting cards. Sit down and do mathematics right via Zoom. And I tell me, say, no, actually, this is how you use it. Don't you know you can write on the board as well? Like, you can write as the teacher is writing. Did you know that? Like, come on, man, big up to every single student who made it through. Right?
Thank you.
See, I'm saying, man, them days are rough.
You're welcome.
Rougher than them.
Thank you so much, guys. It was an amazing show. I truly enjoyed myself, and I must give thanks to my panelists, Patrick Lawson, Jodian Beckford, and Tessany Mowatt. I completely enjoyed this conversation. I may see the comments them I come in and say, yo, we need to tune in more often every Saturday at 7 p.m. All right here on Jamaican.com Facebook page. I will be here next week to continue the countdown. We did 10 tonight, 10 Jamaican news stories, or news stories relevant to Jamaicans for 2020. Next week, we are going to continue the countdown and continue the big ups. All right?
All right.
Enjoy your Christmas week. Enjoy your holidays for those who don't celebrate Christmas, right? And keep safe.
Yep.
All right.
And obey the curfew on the road.
Let's obey the curfew.
Here's some, let's see how, because I can't bother with this in 2021. That's not true. Come now.
My message is, you see that white man? Stay
Oh, God.
there, because Jody, I look for you.
Bye, guys.